This is Noah Lyles. He's kind of fast at the moment, going from a youth phenomenon to a worldwide track superstar in a very short period of time. It's no wonder why so many eyes have been on him in recent years. But how fast was he back then? Was his journey to stardom a walk in the park? And what does the future hold for him? Noah Lyles was born into a very creative and competitive family. His parents were both high-level track and field athletes, and they encouraged Noah and his brother, Josephus, to pursue a wide variety of skills and hobbies to learn about themselves and to establish an identity. One of Noah's first bouts of athletic aptitude was his interest in gymnastics, which transitioned quite nicely into track and field. He leaned more towards the field side of things, as he competed at the Junior Olympic Games at age 12, placing pretty decently in the high jump. 8th grade would be Noah's first genuine season, where he displayed fantastic range across more events, putting up high caliber marks in the 100, 200, and the high jump, and even dabbled in the 110 hurdles as well. He would enter the National Junior Olympics again, but this time added in the 200. While he placed well in the high jump with the 9th place finish, he would take the silver medal in the 200 and was ranked first in the nation in both the 200 and high jump for his class. Freshman year would allow Noah to indulge in a much more competitive atmosphere now that he was in high school. Despite the field being much older than him on average, he showed zero hesitation and fear from the start, running a sub 1100 and 2162 for his season openers already cemented him as a threat in his state, and this would become clear when he placed 5th in the 100 and 4th in the 2 at his state meet. Most freshmen by then would have ended their seasons, but Noah wanted to really test his skills in the 200 at the national level. Making the finals at New Balance Nationals, he placed 4th among top juniors and seniors, and even managed to qualify for the IAAF World Youth Championships. He would confidently make it past the heats, but would be just barely out of range for making the finals. Needless to say, Noah had a fantastic year for his first high school season, and high school track and field site MileSplit would begin to take astute note of his potential as well. His sophomore year lived up to the hype as early as April, as Noah qualified for the Youth Olympic Games running 2089 and made insane improvements in the 100 as well. After grabbing his first state titles in the 1 and 2, he placed 2nd at New Balance Nationals, and after a month and a half of more raw training, he would cap off his sophomore year with a World Youth Olympic title. After obtaining his World Youth Olympic gold, Noah finished the season nationally ranked 5th in the 200 with other sophomore superstar Michael Norman, and tied for 15th in the 100 where he was the top sophomore there too. Many were ecstatic to see Noah's junior year with such a promising precedent to go off of, especially when he went undefeated in his indoor season between the 2 and 300. While his outdoor season didn't appear as explosive as last year, this all changed as soon as he hit the national stage, where he became a double national champion in the 1 and 2, but at the USATF Junior Nationals meet, he would shock the sprinting world with these times.
Smooth comes out firing, but Coleman, so good out of the blocks, continues to lead. Into it's Kemp. Kemp pushing late, but in the end, Lyles got it. Look at that zoom. The last 3 strides. Noah Lyles, he is the junior champ. Let's look for these times, because Lyles and Clark have been really quick this year. It's Norman and Ryan Clark, and now Lyles emerges. Noah Lyles into the lead. It'll be the high schoolers. Lyles, Norman, Clark, 2018. That's a meet record, and he could have hit the American junior record, but he pulled up.
Not only were these times near the very top in the US, but his 200-meter time was the 7th fastest junior mark ever set. Noah wrapped up his season at the Pan American Junior Championships, nearly replicating these already absurd PRs. He would finish the season ranked 1st in both the 1 and 2, but not without people right on his tail that were improving just as fast. A teaser towards going pro with his brother would surface on MileSplit following this, but later in November, it would be announced that the Lyles brothers would be competing for the Florida Gators. In the meantime, Noah still had another entire year to compete in high school, but races within his age group weren't exactly his primary focus, as in April 2016, the brothers hinted at competing at the US Olympic trials to take their skills to the most competitive stage possible. Noah nabbed some fantastic times of 10:14 and 20:23 early in the season, and looked pretty prepared to rival the best the country had to offer in the 200. He did opt to compete compete in the 100 as well, but was knocked out of the prelims. But in the 2, he made his prelims and semifinals look like light work. Michael Norman was also right up with him too, so there were 2 high schoolers in the finals, and both had the potential to make the Olympic squad.
The 18-year-olds in lanes 4 and 6 didn't quite have the strength at them.
Noah Lyles was a 1/10 of a second away from qualifying for his first Olympic Games. Even if he didn't get to go to Rio, he still ended up running the fastest recorded 200 for a high schooler ever. He also decided to extend his season to one more meet in Poland, where he would take the gold medal at the IAAF World Under-20 Championships. Noah Lyles wasn't just a promising prodigy anymore. He was looking to be the future of sprinting. With a ticket to Florida for his collegiate career, the NCAA had 4 years of speedy greatness to look forward to. That was until he decided to go pro straight out of high school. Right after his World Under-20 title, Noah had posted a tweet that simply said, "Noah Lyles, pro athlete," and it would later be revealed that both him and Josephus had foregone their NCAA route and signed an 8-year contract with Adidas. This move proved to be incredibly well executed, as Noah won his very first international races in April and broke 20 for the first time with a great win in Shanghai. He had planned to compete at USA Championships to qualify for the World Championships, but unfortunately had to pull out after the heats due to a lingering hamstring injury. It took a while to fully heal, but Noah came back strong for one more race in Brussels, where again he would take home the first with a snazzy 20 flat. Noah's first pro season was damn near perfect on paper, but he still had a bit ways to go to reach the true top of the 200-meter food chain. 2018 was going to prove that was different though, because with no injuries in sight and all the momentum at his disposal, he would truly prove himself to be the current best 200-meter runner in the world.
Strong man too, but look at Lyles coming through from lane 7. Lyles in lane 7, dragging through Dream Richards behind him. The Commonwealth Chat's a big win, 19.83, a new meeting record.
Here comes Noah Lyles, he's putting on a show for everybody. Noah Lyles streaking away, he wins it 19.69.
But here comes Lyles, that's Greg pulling him through. Wow, what a final 100 from 19.69.
His name is of course Noah Lyles. But look at that lead, 2 meters, 3 meters, 1965, my word. Noah Lyles getting better and better. It's a lifetime best for Noah Lyles.
Der schnellste Mann der Welt. Lyles wird dieses Rennen gewinnen und das war souverän. Lyles mit einer Zeit von 1966. Was für eine Vorstellung von Lyles.
Noah Lyles went from a professional with some solid races under his belt to now being the 8th fastest man recorded in 200-meter history that couldn't seem to lose a race in this event no matter who he was up against. The glow up on this man was so visible, as his overwhelming confidence and dominance just within those 5 meets was enough to solidify him as the new man to beat. His popularity and success as an athlete had soared beyond what most could have expected in a single year, and 2019 would be the perfect year to flex a bit more at the World Championships in Doha, running 1972 in Rome and 19.5 in Lausanne for a 0.15 second PB. He had now soared up towards the greats, becoming the 4th fastest man over 200 meters. Nothing would get in Noah's way this year for USA Champs, as he would breeze past his competition for a national title and was now flown out to Doha in the hopes for an international one.
Champion, and the time waiting for it, 19.78.
You make sure you put them legs right under you and you'll keep moving.
All righty, Noah, congratulations. We'll see you in Doha as well. Congrats, Mom. All righty.
It's always been a family.
Up until this point, Noah has obviously cemented himself as the favorite on paper, but this was a much different environment than every race he's competed at thus far. Nevertheless, he went on by in the prelims and even made the semifinals look a bit casual too. Everything was going to plan, and Noah put himself in position for his first world medal. But if there's one theme about his 200-meter prowess thus far, it's that he hadn't settled for anything less than first in years. And at that stadium in Doha, that clearly wasn't about to change.
Noah Lyles, US champion, world champion. He may have been searching for oxygen as a kid, but he had all the power he needed there.
My man, ready to get it done, you hear me? Good job. Hey, go enjoy this.
Noah Lyles had now become a world champion at the age of 22. Many saw the potential years back that he would eventually reach this point, but to be at the top of the world this quickly was amazing to witness. He also went one step further and helped the 4x1 team secure the gold, making that 2 gold medals for his world champs debut. He had only lost one single race in his professional career up until this point in the 200, but now he had a fresh 19.5 PR, an international title, and a craving for the Olympic gold. It was likely 2020 was going to be the year for Noah Lyles. There was one problem. The Olympics weren't happening next year. Athletes from around the world were struck with annoyance and grief when the 2020 pandemic effectively canceled a hefty majority of major sporting events, which of course included track and field. Races would eventually kick back up, but they weren't very often, and it certainly didn't help that athletes were further demotivated with the postponement of the Tokyo Olympics. In June, Noah would do a 300 time trial where he'd run 31:51, but his first 200 race wouldn't be all the way until July. Funnily enough, his first 200 back was effectively a non-race due to the officials putting Noah on the wrong starting line, and he clocked in the first documented, but obviously not legal sub-19 time. If this wasn't emblematic enough of the chaos 2020 was, Noah would eventually open about his mental health struggles during this time. He stated that he was going on antidepressants after being formally diagnosed with depression, citing a plethora of reasons that led him to feeling as such. He would continue to race through August with pretty solid times, but certainly didn't have that fire under him that sparked in 2019. In 2021, Noah had gone off his medication months before the Olympic trials due to a lack of energy, but despite the constant mental strife he had been going through, he still managed to show up for the Olympic trials and became the American champion once again, running 1972. The Olympics themselves, on the other hand, were looking a bit worrying, as Noah got through the prelims as usual, but played with fire in the semis, easing up too much and had to qualify on time instead. This was concerning, but it wasn't Noah's first rodeo, so the only thing he could do was to regather himself and to just let it ride through the finish line in the finals.
At the moment, Andre de Grasse, is he finally going to get there? Yes, he is! Absolutely phenomenal! At last! At last! He had a slight edge with about 50 to go, but by his own high standards.
Losing to 2 athletes who had the races of a lifetime, Noah was not able to contest Kenny Bednarek and Andre de Grasse, which means he'd have to settle for the bronze. Despite this performance being a punch in the gut, Noah still wore the medal and placement proudly, displaying a sense of comfort within himself again and feeling grateful for those who supported him through his recent struggles. For Noah's last race of 2021, he finally got to compete for the lively American crowd he knew best and ran 19:52 to let others know that he's not out yet. 2022 already showed to be a much fresher year for Noah. He would run 1986, 1972, and 1961 all back-to-back. These were all fantastic times, but perhaps the biggest wildcard in 200-meter history arrived to spice things up a bit, as American prodigy Arian Knighton ran 1949 in April at the age of 18, overtaking Noah's spot as the 4th fastest 200-meter runner on the planet. This didn't deter Noah from winning the USA title though, but Knighton would be right up there with him. This set the stage for an emphatic 200-meter final, and given the championships would be held at the same stadium they just ran on, there was potential for some Hayward magic to happen. Eugene 2022 was the first championship race in a while where Noah wasn't the fastest man on paper. He certainly had the consistency and experience card at his disposal, but with a firecracker like Knighton ready at the go, who truly knows what can happen? Noah gets through the prelims and, contrary to the Olympics, thankfully makes the semis look like light work with a 1962, a time that actually won the Olympics. Knighton made it on his side in the semis running 1977, and Bednarek wasn't too far behind Noah in his race. It was looking to be an American sweep for the 200, but in terms of who took home the gold, the man who would do so would pull off one of the most energetic sprinting races ever put on display.
He ties Michael Johnson's 1996 record. The American record is tied.
And it's a USA sweep.
1931 is the time, breaking a 26-year record.
I knew that was coming. I've just been waiting for it for a few months now. Finally got my start down to where I wanted it to. I knew after the semis that it was going to be today was going to be the day. I looked at the weather, and I was like, yeah, this is it.
19.31. Noah Lyles beat the long-lasting mark of Michael Johnson's 26-year-old record by a hundredth of a second, bumping himself up to the third fastest athlete over 200 meters, and of course, his second world 200-meter title. Bednarek would take the silver, and prodigy Arian Knighton would grab the bronze for the American sweep. A 0.23 second PR at this level truly opened the potential for Lyles to beat Bolt's record in 2022. And while he wasn't successful in this at his subsequent meets, his raw dominance would solidify Noah's 2022 season as quite possibly the best 200-meter season ever recorded. As of now, Noah prepares for the 2023 outdoor season, with some goals quite realistic, but others perhaps a bit absurd for the time being. Maybe that's the strategy and charm of Noah Lyles though. A man with an overwhelming amount of confidence and style that wants to do any and everything to get people watching the sport. And who knows? We've seen athletes alter the public's perception on what elites can truly achieve in the sport of track and field. And the only way we're going to find out is if Noah Lyles shows up and gives the people what they want, but most importantly, what he wants. This is the rise of Noah Lyles, and thanks for watching. Thank you to all my patrons for supporting the channel, and if you want to support the channel for more track and field content like this, come on over and become a patron, drop a sub, and peep the Instagram too. I'll see you all in whatever video I upload next, and take care.